Hi, I'm John,
And I'm Eric.
and we are proud affiliates of the You Run Podcast Network.
Head on over to yourunpodcast.com to check out all of our content, all of our affiliates' content, and so much more.
See y'all there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another riveting edition of Under the Floorboards. We love the creatures that go bump in the night. I am your host, John, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Eric. How are you this week?
Oh, fuck it. I'm okay.
I'm okay,
The shot
Dad.
hasn't gotten all the way down yet.
You're still choking down the last shot of
I'm
vodka.
trying to muscle mind connection my fucking esophagus and get it down. Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah?
good. I got to see Terrifier 3 this week.
That's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, it was really it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Was
I there?
Are you ever there?
No.
Because you're everywhere to me.
I don't know the words.
When I close my eyes, it's you I see.
Oh, sorry. I'm not gay. I don't know.
Dog, you're talking about holding hands and watching The Princess Diaries 3.
Yeah. It'd be cute if we did. I'm just saying.
Have one camera on us the
Yeah.
entire time, and it's just us having reaction videos to The Princess Diary 3.
It's just doing this. With it all.
Um,
We're pretty fucking gay. I don't
Yeah.
know. We're pretty gay.
Yeah, I called you babe in this last reel, so but yes, guys, we went to go see Terrifier 3. This is gonna be a spoiler-free review.
Fuck. I thought we were gonna do a spoiler review. That's fine. I can pivot.
I just don't want to do it. Like, we can have some stuff.
We'll do the full episode
We'll do the full
when we get the DVD or the Blu-ray.
Once it's out of theaters, I'd be super down to do the full length episode
okay.
on it.
Okay, cool.
I think there's still plenty of stuff to talk about. I think there's plenty of things that are not going to be spoilers for people, and also you clicked on the video, man. This was your mistake.
Yeah, there's a risk involved. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
may actually accidentally say some shit in my fucking 2 White Claw and 4 shot. No breakfast stupor.
Works at a place that serves breakfast. Doesn't eat breakfast.
Didn't get breakfast.
And that's the rhetoric we have to change in America. It is. That's a real point, guys.
Yeah.
If you own a restaurant, feed your people. They already should be eating anyways. But the long anticipated Terrifier 3.
Oh my God.
This was a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
Which I really fucking loved. Like, it felt like there were so many elements of like Black Christmas in this. That reflecting on and I will say it was kind of a catch-22 for me, and I'll just crack the seal on. Hey, you know what? Before we crack the seal, let's go into first impressions. Eric, we'll start with you, buddy.
I feel like I liked this movie a lot more in retrospect. And I don't mean that I think we both exited, and I won't speak for you too much because you have your own take on this, but I feel like we both left the theater a little bit but the more I sat with it, the more I kind of chewed it and just accepted it for what it was and said, this is what they gave us. I love this shit. Love this shit. It is, in my opinion, this may be a hot take. It is every bit as entertaining as Terrifier 2 was. However, I don't think it was quite as good as Terrifier 2 was.
Okay.
Was I glued to the screen the entire time? Absolutely. Was I enjoying myself throughout the entire movie? Absolutely. So from an entertainment value standpoint, I just have to say, I really do feel like this was as entertaining as 2 was. I'm going to pass this over to you, and then we'll get into our...
Yeah, totally.
We'll get into our takes here.
My first impression of this film, I do agree. It was excessively entertaining, and I did feel the experience of being in the theater, and I don't get that a lot these days. Like I really enjoyed Stream in the theater, but there's not a lot of movies that come around that really make me feel like I should go see this on the big screen, you know? And I think I saw Terrifier 2 on the big screen like 3 times because I went
yeah. I remember your escapades. Like, oh fuck, it's coming out again. Let's go.
That was the craziest shit. Was like I posted the award show last year, and on the first they were doing the re-release of Terrifier 2, and I was like, well,
I know what I'm doing Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uploaded. I don't need to watch the award show. I fucking edited it.
This will be fine. Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was funny too, because like I hadn't run the award show through a TV yet, so I had no idea how fucking wild the sound design was on it. Because like on my cell phone, perfect. Like in my headphones on my laptop, perfect. It didn't even occur to me the levels were going to be all over the fucking place, which is why I'm really excited for this year's award show, guys.
We will be listening to it on multiple different sound sources ahead of release. Yeah.
We also have drastically upgraded gear, new software.
Whoa.
Like we are really doing the goddamn thing this year. Not that we put just as much love, entertainment, and
oh shit, if not more.
Yeah,
we're out here writing skits and shit.
Yeah. we put a lot of love into last year, and our whole goal is to always make it bigger than it was the year before.
It's like those penis growth pills you see on, well, nobody's on Pornhub in North Carolina because it's shut down. So like on X videos, just for those that know,
not
X
the
videos,
cartoon
yeah,
wiener.
or for those that didn't know, I should say X videos is still up. Anyhow, what was your impression of Terrifier
3? Penis.
Yes, famous.
So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought that the kills were just as good. I thought that honestly, like Lauren Lavera's performance was otherworldly in this one. And
got to show a little more emotion this time. A little more.
I know, like
yeah,
she's coming off a bad beat.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now both her parents are dead.
Yeah.
And anyways,
somebody should write a song about that.
Dead parents. And I think that David Howard Thornton, for what he has shown between 2 and 3, is easily the best physical actor of the modern era. Like,
strong agree.
Because this is a man who is incorporating the absolute diabolical shit that Damien Leone creates with Abbott and Costello style fucking acting, and it's
fucking itchy and scratchy. Is it not? Like, is it not that fucking like Simpsons version of Tom and Jerry? Like,
oh, absolutely,
it's so fucking left of center.
It's what's that game? Cuphead, is that what it is? Yeah,
the rubber hose animation.
Yeah. Like I could see art in that so perfectly,
and they will make that movie. I promise you, they will. Somebody will fan make that movie 100%, because he's that fucking lovable, dude.
Yeah, he is. He is, and I say this all the time. Out of all the slashers and creatures and monsters that exist in the horror universe, I would rather get killed by anyone else than Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to die for 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah. And that's the level of sinister that he brings, and it can only be attributed to David's performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The sell on that is it's otherworldly. And I think to make this character be bigger than life itself, it has to have that kind of drive behind it. And it's not that Lauren doesn't have that for Sienna, it just doesn't have the same effect. You know, and actually that's something that I'm down to actually getting
Yeah,
into.
now we can actually
Yeah,
talk about the movie. Yeah.
I will say I didn't feel she has some incredible moments
Mhm.
in this film, and you always have that feeling of the final girl behind her,
Mhm.
and I didn't get that same Valkyrie from her that like really was like a big drive in the first one,
Sure.
because it's like in or sorry in the second one I felt like when she's strapping up her armor for the first time,
Yeah.
like yes, it's a softer scene, but it felt like
And
it would.
it's also like we're going to a Halloween party. We're not going to battle,
Right,
you
but
know.
even her putting that on felt like part of the crescendo overall. Like it has to start here to make what's going to happen feel so much bigger. And that's something that I didn't really get from this film much at all. And one of the things that I talked about was I felt like this film was really missing the intimacy between Art the Clown and Sienna. It wasn't the same. Like the first one, yes, or the second one, God, three fucking movies now.
I know.
Um,
And that's a great point because I almost personally consider Terrifier 2 to be the beginning of
yeah.
this arc as we know it,
Mhm.
right?
Because even with one, yes, it's a fun slasher. It's a great film, but there is a lot to that still where there were a lot of elements that were taken from one,
Mm,
and it was coming back to that grassroots art just kills it's the people we killed along the way
absolutely.
kind of shit. And but two was so lore heavy, and I was ready for more of the story progression to happen in this film, and it just didn't. There were a couple of very key lines of dialogue
Yeah.
that like gave us something, but it felt like I wanted just a little bit more. Like I wanted something to hold on to in this film, and I didn't really get that
I
story
think we
wise.
both left with more questions than we had answers.
100%.
And I again, this is the comparison that I made on the car ride home. This is the comparison I'm going to make right now. This hit a lot like if you hadn't read the books that the movie The Two Towers did,
Mm-hmm.
where what it's doing is it's bridging between Fellowship and Return of the King, obviously, but like what you're meant to get from this is a progression. You're getting a
Mm-hmm.
couple of nuggets here and there about like storytelling and lore and why this is happening and where this is happening and how come and shit like that. But we never really like pull the veil off entirely on any
Mm-hmm.
aspect of the lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's either a setting up for everything is going to be tied together and it's all going to make sense, or it's B, one of those things where we're playing this like victim card of I didn't know that I was going to get a budget for Terrifier 3.
Yeah,
I
totally.
thought Terrifier 2 was going to be kind of a riff off of 1 and people fucking loved it, so it just happened to work out, but now we have to actually write a whole complete story, and I'm not that's no shot at Damien. It's just one of those things where you have to ask yourself, did we just get a filler episode? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And
I think that's super
I
fair.
think that's super fair. That was my impression of it. Now, that doesn't for the people that were waiting for us to like echo what other people have been saying. It's not quite as good as 2. It's one of those things where I think when we see the complete picture,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be a very valid entry.
Mm-hmm.
But from a first take standpoint, this felt like a continuation of a story we're all very familiar with. And it kind of like almost in a way that if we had written it ourselves as fans,
Yeah.
I feel like we could have done just as good of a job with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I a lot of this movie is spent with art, and I would say probably 25% of it is spent with Sienna.
I think that's fair. Maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
it
but
definitely felt like this is the Art the Clown episode in a
mm-hmm.
way, in a way that like we can show off what we can do with practical effects. We can show how fucking crazy he is and how sinister he is as a character. And we got a lot more of Art's like quote backstory than we did Sienna's in this one. I feel like it
Yes and no.
like
Uh,
there was a lot of like present day. Okay, flashback to like what Art was doing 5 years ago, because there is like this may be a light spoiler, but there is a 5 year jump between Terrifier 2 and
No, they've
Terrifier
already
3.
confirmed that.
Okay.
That's not a
Okay,
spoiler.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a lot of time has passed, and we spend, I feel like, not an inordinate amount of time with Art, but we spend a lot of time with Art. And I don't know about you, but I wanted to spend as much time with Sienna as we did in 2,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like that's our protagonist, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it felt like incidental.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that as a shot, but it did feel incidental.
Right. No, I get that. You're there. I think I know what you're saying because I feel like Lauren Rivera is used more as a catalyst of story progression, but only to the degree that she was needed to move it along, because otherwise it's just Art slaughtering people the whole time. And that's something that a lot of people loved about Terrifier 1. That's a lot of people's favorite aspect about that. It was not mine, and that was why I thought 2 was so fucking strong, was because there was a story
Because now we
behind
have a
it,
story and we have investment and shit like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are characters that we care about, and I will say also, like, on a total side note, Scafidi did an incredible job in this film, and I will say the plot for her kind of spun me a little bit, with again having more questions than we do answers, because again, like, anyone who's and I don't think this is a spoiler, but I've had a lot of theories walking into this, that this was going to start tying into All Hallows Eve, and I think to a degree it does. And I think there's some real recognition for characters that we're gonna see in 4, and this is just predicated on, like, all of these theories that I'm talking about right now are just based on the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at certain scenes in the trailer, I think it's all gonna come full circle for that. And actually, speaking of circles, there was a really really cool Easter egg. I don't know if you caught it or not, but when uh Art gets on the bus at the end of the film, the book that
The
she's
Ninth Gate.
no, it was the Ninth Circle.
Oh.
So the Ninth Circle is the first short film that was named with Art the Clown in it, and I
Okay.
thought that was cool as shit.
Okay.
um and I think we're gonna meet some characters in the next film that I think we're gonna find that Art is not the he's not the pinnacle of what's going on. I think he is the harbinger of what is fucking to come in this universe, which is a cool concept. I hope that gets delivered well.
Because the alternative is you kill Darth Maul and now it's Sidious.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what do you put over Art the Clown? That dude is like diabolical. Like,
Right.
but there was a lot that I think that I really enjoyed about this film.
Yeah.
The kills, like you said, like, are just as good in 2. I will say, I feel like this movie being done during COVID, the upper hand that 2 had over 3 was Damien took so much time when they couldn't film, whether somebody got sick on screen, or on screen, on set, or if somebody needed to, like, or they couldn't be there that day or whatever. He took so much more time on these special effects, and you just can't compare something that had 2 years of rusing and building to something that they cranked out in a year.
Yeah.
Like, they cranked out Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
Like, they made their money, and then they made another movie in a year.
Which is something that I appreciate, because I think we both hate the fucking 3 year hiatus between sequels.
Totally.
And I appreciate the willingness to, like, put fucking foot to ass and, like, we're gonna make this shit happen because the fans demand it, and or whatever. But for me, I think you and I both agree on this, that the crown jewel of the Terrifier series in terms of kills is the bedroom scene in 2.
Yes.
And 3 never hit me the same way that did. It still has fucking shit that you've never seen before.
Yeah,
Like,
that is true.
it's
That is a really
the,
good way to put that.
the creativity and the resources that this team had available to them is absolutely on display in 3. I mean, it doesn't pull any punches. And it, like,
I think it just didn't have the same comedy to it, because that was the thing about
yeah,
the bedroom scene comparative to, guys, this is going to get compared to the shower scene, and that's no surprise to anybody.
yeah, the shower scene is going to be the one that people are going to write home about.
Yeah, exactly. So it hits. It's got shit that you've never seen before. I don't like. I'm with Eric on this. Like, I just don't think that those are even comparable, because the bedroom scene was insane.
It's not even like one was a little bit better than the other. It was a different fucking league.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of that, this is going to be a spoiler, and if you hate this, I'm not going to name
Skip
names.
forward.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But like, the difference for me was in 2, you didn't really want to see this person die. And in 3, you absolutely want to see this person die. And that was the difference for me, was you were almost pulling for art during the bathroom scene.
Well,
you were like, thank fucking God he took it to this level. He finally got there.
and I don't think that's even necessarily a spoiler, because they show in the trailer the blonde girl who is, you see her in the shower, and you also see her when she's trying to get an interview with Sienna, because this, I guess, is a spoiler. She runs a fucking true crime podcast.
And that's my favorite thing about this, because it's us, right? because it's our community of podcasters, and there are scumbags that will do whatever it fucking takes to get a dig, to get a fucking like scoop on something. And those people deserve to fucking get killed the way that like, you're a piece of shit. You're literally a piece of shit.
All I'm saying is sodomy.
You're preying on the trauma of somebody and forcing them into a position of uncomfortability so you can get a fucking, extra couple of listens.
Absolutely.
And that's so funny to me. Like, I was laughing in the theater because I loved, as hard as we try to get Damien and David, and we will have them on the podcast at some point. I'm just speaking that into existence.
Yeah, like, totally.
Is that a shot? By
this
the way?
Is what dreams are made of.
Shots on camera. Let's fucking.
Hey now.
This is what dream. Anyway. But I love that got addressed, because parasitic journalism has been plaguing the world for hundreds of years, and I love seeing comeuppance in movies.
Absolutely.
And that's what made the shower scene hit. I would almost argue there's another kill that happens towards, it's not even towards the end, it's in the last like fucking 20 minutes, that is so fucking brutal to me because of not only context, but also execution.
Oh, is it the medieval kill?
The rats.
Oh God. Yeah, that honestly I thought was the kill of the film.
And I think that, like I said, I think that people are going to compare the shower scene to the bedroom scene just because of, when you see it, you'll know what we're talking about. But the creativity on that last one.
Oh yeah.
Because that was the last kill of the movie, the one that at the end with a character that I'm not going to like, I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is so fucking brutal. And like you said, medieval, it's riffing on, if you've seen season 1 of Game of Thrones and you know what rats do when they're exposed to fire. Yeah.
Well,
or season 2, that was season 2. Sorry. Anyway.
Well, and it's so funny because like the way that kill ends, it just makes it feel like what they did the first part of that was all just fucking flair.
But that's what I love about this series.
Yes,
it's killing for killing's sake.
Absolutely.
And that's what you like. People who make slasher movies miss this all the time. it's killing for killing's sake in the sense that like my intention is to cause as much pain to you as harm, right? And that level of brutality is something that gets, I'm just gonna kill this bitch because she's a character in a movie and I'm a slasher, like it gets
I'm a slasher.
right. And it gets lost in translation sometimes, and in the execution I feel like it's wasted a little bit because you have so many opportunities, and this is a movie that doesn't waste one. There's an entire sequence that straight up is just, it could have been left out of the movie, nobody would have given a fuck, but it's the tavern scene where he comes in,
which I think was Eric's actual favorite part of this,
and it was because it was, you could have shot that as a short film and it would have worked. If people knew who Art the Clown was and you spent the, I don't know, 8 minutes that you did in that scene,
I don't know that they would even need to know. Like, if you're talking about just taking that section and turning that into a short,
it was so fucking funny, and it was so brutal, and at the same time, like, it was also groundbreaking in my opinion, because it did shit that we haven't seen in movies before, in horror slashers certainly, but like in movies in general, where you bridge that gap between comedy and pure fucking terror. And like, this is insanity. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm laughing because it's so fucking funny to me. And then like,
it's wild.
It is wild. It is wild. And because of context, this is so hard to do without spoiling anything. Because of context, it works so well within the scope of the movie that like the argument has to be made that like, no, you got to leave it in there because it's just, it sets up anyway. But when you see the tavern scene, when you go and see this movie, and I hope you go and see this movie in theaters, and I hope you fucking like buy the DVD or the Blu-ray when it comes out, but like, that is going to be one of those things that it's going to be an entire YouTube video, the same way like the intro to Scream is an entire YouTube video. That's going to be its own independent YouTube video, and I love that because it's such a self-contained thing. And it was perfect. It was so fucking well done. The other one I was going to draw attention to was the attic scene.
That,
I think that's going to be like number 3 maybe.
Aesthetically, that was actually my favorite shots of this entire movie. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier with like these Black Christmas references, like him sitting in the chair and him being covered in cobwebs and
5 years because he just hibernates. Apparently, he needs to recharge his batteries.
Oh, Sienna's out now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's fine to stay up late. And of course, the people that find him just like, don't know their dick from a hole in the ground. But
that's real shit.
And one thing that I did really enjoy is I feel so bad that I'm blanking on the actor's name because he is so funny. He was in the first Scary Movie. He was in the scene with Marlon Wayans, and he's like, and we're gay. I'm not gay, but we went shopping together. I needed clothes, but you made love to me.
right. And then we fucked.
And it was an absolute, it was a blast to see him again in T3. And I love cameos like
and there's
that.
so many cameos
there's so many cameos, and like, this is the part that's even harder for me not to spoil, because there were a handful where I was just like,
that's my fucking boy.
That's my
boy, dog. Yeah, no, for real. And you almost don't even catch him until you see the credits. Right. Because there, a couple of them are fucking like,
all I'm saying is it's the second time that we've seen one of them on the news. Guess you can
mark that.
Go back to one of our current episodes that we actually talk about this person being a cameo star.
It's Evil Dead. Zack Snyder.
Dude, if Zack Snyder made an Evil Dead movie, I would go broke going to go see it, because it would be 4 hours of Evil Dead.
Superman is beating the shit out of fucking Ash Williams.
Ash is like masturbating with a chainsaw hand, like crazy shit.
I just also want you to know this, and I want our viewers to know this. If I have a son when the time comes, his name is going to be Ash.
It's Ash.
Yeah, his name's going to be Ash.
His Christian name does have to be Ashley because it is in fact Ashley Williams.
Yeah.
They talk about that in the I don't know if you've watched it yet, but they Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is on Netflix. That series is pristine down to the last minute detail. I fucking love Ash versus Evil Dead. Especially like the final episode is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It is so fucking good.
I'll have to check it out.
Like they go like Cthulhu level shit.
You said it's on Netflix?
Yeah. I'm talking like the army comes in. They've got fucking tanks blasting fucking deadite Cthulhu gods.
Claymation shit like they are in the fucking.
No, they have money now.
Oh, cool.
It's
I
not
really missed that. I wish they
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I wish they had done that. That sucks.
Yeah, but other than people like us, that nobody would have watched it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say they
Imagine
do
making horror movies for horror fans.
cracks neck.
That's okay. That's okay. You got to make your money somehow.
No, and I will say there are still a lot of practical effects in that series that are a lot of fun. They also introduced my favorite drink, which is called a pink fuck.
Pink fuck.
A pink
Break
fuck.
this one down.
So a pink fuck. So I can only break it down to the amount that they broke it down in the show. Because the guy, so Ash goes, "What goes in a pink fuck?" And he starts like chugging the plastic cup, and he's like, "Well, it's like powdered lemonade, vodka, some other stuff, and a shit ton of ketamine."
Absolutely.
That episode is fucking
Absolutely.
S tier.
Yeah.
S tier fucking writing. I love that shit.
I love that shit.
But yeah, so the cameos were great in this fucking movie. I don't even think we have to talk about the special effects because, like, I mean,
they're so next level. Like some of the shit that they pull off in this movie, and it's I almost like hesitate to like say that this because it's not done without CGI.
Sure,
it's not done without CGI, but so much of it is believable.
Oh yeah,
in a way that you would almost say, "Oh, that looked really good."
Yeah,
like, you know, it's like.
I love the fact that we're in an era where practical effects have come so fucking far that there are people that are freaking out in the theaters because it is too real for them.
Yeah.
You know, that's insane. We have because for me, like in the practical effects world, you know, you have your Tom Savini's, you have Damien Leone, you have fucking Derek, you have fucking Izzy. There are so many people that are so fucking good at this, and it's incredible. It's mind blowing to me that these bigger Hollywood films are relying so heavily on CGI.
Yeah,
that looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
And they're trying to crank it out so fast, so the fucking CGI artists don't even have time to pull it together in the right amount of time. And you could have just shot the fucking scene for half the fucking price. And instead, we're just like trying to make it look like something it's not. Like I would much.
Yeah, no, cause the comparison that I make, because this is the era that we grew up in. If you're gonna make a CGI heavy movie, it better look like fucking Transformers.
Yeah,
you know,
that's real shit.
It like, because the thing is like there is so much time and so much money wasted on applying CGI where you could have just gotten away with it.
Yeah,
and it just sucks. Because I wonder how many people like didn't get that job that could have done that job for a fucking fraction.
And yeah, well, that's the thing. Exactly. It would have saved the film money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already blowing millions of dollars anyway, so they don't really give a fuck about it.
Money, who gives a shit?
But,
right.
But they should, because Art the Clown is the Joker this season. Like
100%. There's only one clown, dogs.
Yeah, I was actually messaging with Francesco, who was in Terrifier 2, and he had posted something about them, you know, being the number, or Terrifier 3 being number 1 in the US.
Fucking an independent film is the number 1 film in the United States right now.
Independent horror film. is number one in the country right now over a Warner Brothers movie and a fucking DreamWorks film.
Go fuck yourself.
There are families that go to those movies.
Go fuck yourself.
You beat families.
It's fucking Terrifier season. And that's a testament to the fandom.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Because they showed up and showed out this year.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody who loves this shit as much as we do.
Yeah.
Because you're fucking funding 4. And 4 is going to be that fucking Return to the King shit. I promise you.
100%. The fact that Damien has already said that 4 will be the last Terrifier movie.
So sick. Which is so him saying that, like, I refuse.
I've got chills right now.
I refuse to milk this into 8 movies. I'm going to tell my story and I'm going to complete this, and it's going to be a fucking separate entity. If we bring Art the Clown into the extra shit, we do, but this is what Terrifier is. It's brilliant. And I love that shit so much.
And I think that, you know, this is going to be a thing where I think it's a mixed bag. I think it's going to be an incredible film. I truly believe in my heart of hearts. And I did make this mistake walking into 3, where I had my expectations for it and certain things were going to happen. I truly do believe that in 4, we are going to have most of our questions answered. I don't think that we're going to get left high and dry. I think that we're going to really, really bring it all together in this final film, which is amazing. And I think that the catch on this is, I think Damien wants to be able to set these actors and production people free too. Like because
which is so responsible.
Because also Damien has used like when they say the Terrifier family, that is no fucking joke. Like the people that have been in this have really kind of been there since the beginning. Scafidi has been there since the beginning. Like if you haven't died,
you're here.
You're here. You're still a part of it.
Family.
And that's even that.
Let's fucking go.
That New Jersey Alfredo, baby.
Yeah, dude, that one.
But even like behind the camera, like there's a handful of people that we talk to and follow that have literally been the cameraman since Terrifier 1. There are people that have been doing stunt coordination since Terrifier 1.
It's independent horror shit on a fucking big budget.
And this is the like exact point of all ships rise with the tide, and
There's
like
so much
fucking
room at the top.
Hats off to Damien Leone for being that fucking dude to be like, no, this is my team.
This is my movie.
I'm
going to make this shit the way that I want to make this shit with the people that I want to make it with. And we're doing the damn thing.
Because I remember like earlier when they had announced Terrifier 3, you know, obviously there are people that are like following Damien now, which is crazy as an independent horror
as they
director.
Should, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, but
no.
But like there's like photos of him walking in to have fucking talks with Sam Raimi and all kinds of these big companies, and I bet they feel so fucking stupid right now being like, oh,
I just told this dude not to
do this, and he did it anyways and made
number 1 movie
and made more fucking money than the Joker 2. More money than the Joker 2. More money than fucking Wild Robots. Like
Anarchy fucking reigns. Let's fucking go.
Anarchy in the
UK. It's so fucking sick. And this is what Terrifier 3 is for me. Ultimately, I don't know how much time we have left, but like
it's our fucking show.
Ultimately, this is a celebration of independent horror.
Absolutely.
And what we can do as a community of people, of filmmakers, of writers, of actors, is fucking fans, patrons, is that right?
Patreon.
anybody that has ever supported independent horror owes it to themselves to go watch
Mhm.
Terrifier 3 in theaters, because what we're doing is we're doing that fucking shit where we're driving GameStop's fucking stock up. And Terrifier may fail. Terrifier may ultimately fail. It won't, but it may.
I
But
say they've made plenty of money. They're like the opposite of failing right
but
now.
what we're doing is sending a message to big box Hollywood and saying this is what we want,
And we're tired of your
and
shit.
we're tired of your shit. We're tired of you not paying people. We're tired of you not making quality products with the budgets that you have
Mhm.
allocated to yourself, that you're allocating to yourself. And we want good fucking movies that are fucking fun, entertaining, a great master. It's Terrifier 3 was a fucking, like, I'm just going to say it, a master class in practical effects.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
what you can do with practical effects. Like, holy fucking shit. It's so fucking amazing to watch what these guys did.
Hmm.
You know, even on the budget that they had. I mean, it was extraordinary to watch this shit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it still wasn't as good as two. And so I want to like rewind a little bit and say, like, why wasn't it as good as two? Like, I feel like we riffed on it a little bit, but I feel like we haven't really like talked about our
Sure.
grievances here for people that may go see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'll start since you're posing the question on this one. And I'm gonna pour this shot first.
Oh shit. More shots. Let's go. Chin chin.
To Terrifier 3, guys.
Cilantro to you.
So
Because it wasn't perfect.
it wasn't perfect. Um, there was a lot to be loved. Again, like we walked out of the movie, we had some questions, but overall, we really, really, really fucked with the film, as we just said with our like 20-minute drunken diatribe.
And
of
I
it.
don't want anybody to take anything we're about to say as a reason not to go support this movie.
Absolutely, because actually, what I will say for me, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, it's really predicated on the fact that I don't feel the the same amount of story
Mm.
that I got from two, because and actually I made this comparison the other night when we went to go see it, is there are when I was a sous chef, there was a void that I filled when I was walking into the job, and this was my first executive that I was working under, and he was one of the most incredible people I've met in my entire life. It is absolutely everything that you've seen about executives was the complete opposite. He was one of the kindest people that I've met in my entire life, and he made a comparison to me one day, because the servers were always hitting on me, and not that I'm a fucking gem or whatever, but
Also, not that you can register affection.
yeah. That's fair. It's why I won't go see Princess Diaries 3 with him. But he uh but they loved having me there, and the energy was always good and all this kind of stuff. And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, you really lucked out on this one." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You never want to replace the guy that they loved. You always want to replace the guy that they hated." And I didn't hate Terrifier 1, but Terrifier 1 was a masterclass in special effects, and it was
Frankly, all of them have been.
all of them have been.
Yeah.
And that's like talking about when he has Terrifier 1 money, right, instead of like hitting the box office. And it's crazy to see everyone that's been a part of that. Even just Terrifier 1 has excelled so much in their career now. I mean, Catherine Corcoran is one of the biggest hosts with Dead Meat James on fucking
Holy
Fangoria. Like
Fangoria is like kind of the crowning for people who don't know. That's the
like
one.
taking someone who gets iced in a given movie and making them famous. That is like Haktua times 20.
That's like getting a role at NBC.
Yeah.
If like Siskel and fucking Ebert were like, "Hey, we'd like you to write a review for us,"
And so I feel like with this film, for me, it's it's already at a disadvantage because we loved two so much, and because two is so like when we did our Terrifier 2 review, you made a really uh poignant point about don't fuck up three because
Yeah.
you have lightning in a bottle. I
Yeah.
think it's exactly what you said.
Yep.
And with that, when I was imagining going to see Terrifier 3, I literally had this image in my head of Damien Leone opening up that bottle, shooting lightning out into the sky, and then catching it again.
Right.
And it like I'm talking like Hercules style. And for me,
Fucking Dark Souls 2 lightning spear.
yeah,
Grab it, throw it back at the motherfucker.
yeah,
Yeah.
and again, the movie was fun. It was incredible practical effects.
Neither of us dislike this movie
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
But comparing it to Terrifier 2 is really hard.
It is hard.
And for me, I think going into 3, and one thing I'll bring up one more time is really just the fact that again, Damien Leone had so much more time to work on Terrifier 2 because of COVID.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because a lot of other people are like, "Oh, we couldn't work on it because of COVID." And like he's fucking cranking it out every day and trying to get new shots and trying to get new effects and build all of this stuff into it. And it's a matter of he had more time to do it because it was also like I think Terrifier 1 came out in 2016. So he already has been working on this for so much longer, and now he's trying to get the rest of this franchise out, which makes sense. I totally get it. But I could feel that pace difference in this film. And I know part of that too was him talking about how or responding to what fans were talking about, where they didn't want the movie to be as long as Terrifier 2 was. And for me, it's a little different because I say this all the time.
And I feel like we both are on this. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrifier 2 to me feels like a 90-minute movie, which is insane.
Despite the fact that it's almost an hour longer than 90 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it is fucking crazy to me that the power of editing and pacing that Terrifier 2 has really brings that to the forefront. Yeah. And this movie being at 2 hours and like 5 minutes felt longer to me than the other film. And and while he's still doing the bang, 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 like people are just dying left and right. And for me, again, this is part of him responding to fans. So I don't know that this is really any a shot against him. But people missed Terrifier 1. You know, the like true-blooded fans were like, we don't need no story, let the motherfucker burn. And that's what they were going for. And
you get a lot of that in 3.
You get so much of that in 3. And that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it is. I completely agree.
But I for me personally, I want more story. And I talk about this all the time too. Like I love horror. I fucking love horror. And the reason that I love horror so much is I'm not a person that feels fear on something that's not real.
Yep.
I'm not watching it for whatever adrenaline burst or whatever people are getting. I am watching horror for the stories at the end of the day. I love the special effects. I'm absolutely fascinated by that. But the reason I keep coming back to horror at the end of the day is the story. And there wasn't a lot of that in this film. And, you know, I don't need my theories validated. I need
because who gives a shit?
Right? Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What I need is for you to fucking tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And I get that that's also like you're saying, this being a bridge, it has to go into 4. but I just felt like they could give us a little bit more story wise, and that was what was more frustrating to me.
I agree, and again, I think the comparison that I'm going to make is going to be to the Two Towers. I feel like it is a bridge, but it's also one of those questions of, um, I don't know, and because I almost don't even want to accuse Damien of this, but the trauma that I have with watching shit like this is that people make movies without the intention of it becoming a fucking saga, and they sort of shoehorn details in later to make it work, or they retcon shit to make it work, and things like that. And there's a little bit of that going on in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of that. I don't know that it necessarily made sense, but I'm gonna buy it because I love you. Kind of, kind of, kind of shit going on in this.
It's like when people show up to my pop-ups.
But no, it like it, I loved it. I just wanted it to be another notch better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my only critique of it. Is it sort of suffers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It suffers because it has to follow up Terrifier 3. It's that shit that
Terrifier 2, but
Terrifier 2. It suffers because it's doing that shit where every band who has ever headlined against a band that was opening for them that is an objectively better band than them. And you have to say, well, thank God I got the hits. Like there's that they bought tickets for me, so I hope they love it, right? And it's not shitty, it's not weak, it's not trite, it's nothing that's negative. It just, I feel like you and I feel the same way. It just didn't hit like Terrifier 2 did.
mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite on fucking target.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that I feel like has to do with how good Terrifier 2 was, and not that Terrifier 3 was necessarily bad.
And I like to think that hopefully it is more of a precursor to how good 4 is going to be. And I did say this, that I think that 3 is going to be weak so that 4 can be even better.
Yeah.
Deliberately
so.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Well, I think that Damien Leone is smart enough to know where he has to sacrifice things for things to work. Because, like, what I was just talking about a minute ago is there was a lot of, okay, you got to fucking kill Peter to pay Paul kind of shit to make some of the fans happier about it, and
there's a kill in this movie. It happens in the shower scene, but it is, in my opinion, the greatest fuck you to people who have criticized Damien for his misogyny.
That's a really good point. It's the
greatest fuck you to people. He's like, I can kill whoever the fuck I want to kill this way. It has nothing to do with gender, and you can go fuck yourself. And it was so fucking intentional, and it almost is so intentional that I believe it's the reason it was written the way it was written.
Sure, totally.
Because it's just like, you're gonna come after me for misogyny, watch this shit. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking clean. I'm gonna end with one question.
Oh shit.
What are your predictions for 4? Because I'm on 15% phone battery, and I want to I want to see if we can wrap this up.
So
next 5.
Anyone who is listening right now, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to choose whether or not you want to listen to the rest of this episode, because my predictions for 4 are completely predicated on shit that I have seen in 3.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so I
almost said something really fucking weird.
Oh baby. So I think that in 4 we go back to the Terrifier. the Terrifier is going to actually be the portal to getting to hell. I think that
Yes, sir.
I think Jonathan is not dead because
He's not.
there's no part of me that believes that Damien Leone is going to do an off-screen kill of one of the most important characters in the series,
especially to Sienna.
Especially to Sienna, and that's also predicated on the fact that her or not her Scaffidi's character as the witch makes a comment about how they're trying to create this level of depravity in Sienna so that they can fucking take over her.
Because she's the chosen one.
Because she is the chosen one. That'll be in the later episode, but I've got some real shit about like the chosen one and the sword and like all of that shit. But I think she meets back up with Jonathan. I think she and Jonathan both go to hell to battle the fucking arch demon that I assume
is the Vecna.
Yeah, he is the Vecna of all of this shit. I think that they both go to hell to save her cousin, right? Okay.
We'll say cousin for the sake
of it. Yeah.
Her character's name is Gabby.
Yeah.
Who is introduced in 3.
Yeah. And yeah, spoiler alert for the people who didn't pay attention to the spoiler alert.
Yeah. Turns out there's other people.
Yeah. They just don't introduce everybody because everyone's dead. Right. You've got like 3
There's only 3 characters left. I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, no.
I think that Sienna lives. I think Gabby lives and they rescue her from hell. And I think that Jonathan dies as a sacrifice.
Ooh, a martyr.
As the martyr.
Yeah.
For Terrifier 4. And I think that makes him, because they played him off so weak in this movie that I think they want to give him like a power punch.
Okay.
In the last film.
Maybe he drops the girl, the child.
And I think for some reason I think that Sienna's gonna have wings. Like I think she's gonna actually fucking grow Valkyrie wings.
Okay.
I think we will meet all of the mask characters, or most of the mask characters that we met from All Hallows Eve. And like I think that's how you make the full 9th circle.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
And I think that Art is gonna kill someone.
I think there has to be a permadeath. And this is what my take is. I want to see it be Sienna. And here's why. Because I think when you go to hell in Terrifier hell, I think everybody that Art the Clown and whoever the fuck is killed is there. And I think she serves as the sacrifice to bring everybody back. And I think that would be a brutal, heart-wrenching
Everyone
scene.
from the Clown Cafe comes back.
Absolutely everybody returns back to Earth except for Sienna. I want to see her make that hero sacrifice. I want to see her do that shit. And Art's gone, the fucking witch is gone, the fucking, bicycle girl, that's not her name, but the fucking, like
the bicycle girl.
I'm stuck on Saw right now. There's a child on a bike. Because I think that would be her fulfilling the destiny.
It would also close the circle.
Absolutely. And that has to be the end of it. And I think that would be not only fucking hot, but I think that would be fucking tear jerking to watch.
Absolutely.
To watch arguably one of the greatest.
Our final girl.
One of the greatest final girls of all time go down like a fucking Valkyrie. Go down like a fucking winged angel. who has gone to hell to resurrect people and bring them back and to like, because that's the whole role, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you die in the field of combat, I come to save you. That's what a Valkyrie does,
What's the over
you know.
under on that?
I'm gonna say negative 150. I think it's probable, but I don't know because I'm not Damien.
And that's my only thing
Yeah,
is with me thinking that it's going to be Jonathan because it's one of them.
yeah,
There's no part of me that believes that it's neither of them for
yeah.
Terrifier 4. Um, the reason that I put Jonathan on that is I don't think that Damien is done taking away things from
Yeah,
Sienna.
yeah.
I don't think that he's done with that. And that's the tear jerking part on the other side of that is
It's this perpetual
yes.
decade after decade after decade of you losing and fighting and losing and fighting and
Mm.
losing and fighting. Yeah.
And you couldn't save your brother.
Mm-hmm.
I I just got
Mm-hmm.
chills.
Mm-hmm.
And not even like him getting killed, like him getting fucking
Mm-hmm.
eviscerated. Like I really feel
Like
that
that,
one in my bones.
the fucking kid in the opening scene.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's
Who was who like by the way, like total side note. Uh it was so funny when we were watching this film in the opening scene, and I looked at Eric and I was like, man, you talk about fucking stepdad energy.
yeah.
And that was his actual fucking father. And I was just like,
Oh
oh.
shit. You're so bad at being a dad.
Oh, you're just a scumbag. Got it. Any wrap up thoughts for
I would love it personally if anybody who's listening to this who has the opportunity to do so to go see this in theaters. And
mm,
that's not because it's rentable or not because it's not rentable, I guess is the way I
mm,
want to put that. Um, I really enjoyed this movie in theaters.
mm,
And just from a theatrical standpoint, from an experiential standpoint, I really would love it if you would go see it in and just do yourself the favor
mm,
and get the fucking bunch of crunch and get the fucking like
daddy.
and get the beer and fucking sit there, recline that chair back and just enjoy what great independent horror is.
Pee before you go in.
Pee before you go in. It's a long one. I'm not gonna lie. 2 hours and 13 minutes. What was it? 2 hours and
Mm-hmm.
five. What was it? I
I
can't
think
remember.
it was 2.5.
Okay, 2 5.
Yeah.
Um, but I really want people to start enjoying horror again in the same way that they did in those mid 2000s, but also in a sense that like it's really important to me that you support independent horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to me that you support a story that I care about and that I love and people that I care about and that I love. And it's just good. It's just good. I want you to avoid those fucking when you see like IMDb is like, oh, it's 6.1 stars, or you can wait, dog. Just go have fun. Just go have fun watching a great horror movie. Enjoy the special effects, enjoy the storytelling, enjoy the acting. The acting we didn't even really remark upon, but like fucking Lauren Lavera has some fucking scenes in this shit
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's next level.
Mm-hmm.
And you owe it to yourself to go see this in theaters. And I would love it if we would bring that back in a post-COVID world. I would love it if we would bring back going to see a movie in theaters just
Mm-hmm.
because you love it. And that's it.
Absolutely. And I think for my final thoughts, it's first of all, I am so tired of seeing Mia Goth in horror movies.
Yeah.
Um, there is so much that's happening in the horror world right now,
That
and
extends so fucking
yeah, it's so broad and it's so wide, and like this isn't even like me trying to sell you guys on us because for some reason you're already fucking listening to us, but like stuff on our Instagram and stuff like that, like it is the easiest thing in the world to do to just share.
yeah.
And more often than not, we're not posting about ourselves. We're
Mm.
posting about all of these incredible idealists and filmmakers and people that are bringing this level of shit. I mean, it doesn't have the same special effects, but that's because of the budget, and
Yeah.
any one of the films that we've been talking about, and even some that don't have the same budget, are killing it, are absolutely doing the same level of shit for these films, and like I'm so tired of watching. Here's my thing with modern horror in fucking film right now, in the, let's say, A tier cinema,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just to give it
Yeah.
uh the budget that we're talking about for this, their budget doesn't go into special effects. It hardly goes into CGI. And the reason for that is they're overpaying all of these actors and actresses that, quite frankly, are not any better than the people that we're talking about to begin with. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like what I will always love the Terrifier series for more than anything else is it's trying so hard to create this renaissance of what filmmaking should be. And that doesn't, like, that extends past horror. Like,
Yeah.
this extends into the idea that if you can have an idea and create a story that if it hits the audience, then it will grow and become something beautiful. And this is a chance that you guys really have. And if you follow our Instagram and you check out what we're doing, we're showing you what you should be watching. You know, there's some crazy shit that's about to be made next year. 2025 for indie horror is going to be fucking
Legendary.
insane.
And you're going to remember where you were. If you're paying
Mm.
attention, you're going to remember where you were because I this may be a hot take for a lot of people. I don't believe it is for myself, but like Terrifier as a franchise is going to be one of those things that we're going to look back on in 20, 30 years and revere the same way that we do Nightmare and Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that good. It's that
100%.
good. And you owe it to yourself to be present in the moment and be present in the era and say, I'm going to go be a part of this because I want to remember where I was when I saw Terrifier 3.
100%. And I think that's the best way to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Aside from, let's do one more.
Shots.
Yep, let's do one more cheers.
Fucking. Just a quick shout out again, Damien, David, Lauren. You are fucking the greatest thing that has happened to independent horror in a fucking long time, and I really appreciate
To all of it. To
all of it.
T3.
T3.
Cheers, guys.
Go see that shit.
And thank you for joining us where it creaks, it cracks, and we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. Good night, everybody.